All right, let's jump straight to the TeachBrunei Learning Management System. The TeachBrunei LMS platform requires its users to be registered for the users to be able to access the information and the content that is inside the TeachBrunei platform. Nevertheless, those who are not registered will be able to look at the welcome page and to look at certain features and information that might be required for them to ponder on registering into this TeachBrunei LMS. Let's begin with looking into the registration features. As you can see here, other than the welcoming message, we also have two different registration forms. One is for the student with schools that can be selected by the students and the year that they're in. Another is for the teacher, or in this regard, we can also refer to them as the instructor. Again, they can also represent the school that they are teaching currently and the subjects or the main subject that they teach. This also applies to teachers who do not teach in schools, for example, principals and senior masters and deputy principals who are definitely school admins. There is another hidden registration form here, which is not included in the front page of the website. The registration form is exclusively for officers of the departments of the Ministry of Education to be able to observe and to even take part in certain features and functionalities of the TeachBrunei LMS. Other than the registration format and the registration form, you also have additional information with regards to the website, what it is all about. You also have a privacy policy. Now, the privacy policy is not a government level policy, it is a user policy exclusively for the TeachBrunei platform. So this has to be distinctively mentioned to the users. And we also have general frequently asked questions. So this would allow teachers, potential teachers, and students to understand a bit better on what is required to be a part of the TeachBrunei Learning Management System community. All right, so let's close this down first. To start with, I would like to sign up as an instructor so that I will be able to show everyone what is available for the instructors, for the teachers. I am also the admin to this website, to this platform. Now, before we begin going into the TeachBrunei Learning Management System platform, there are several levels of users. Since I created and developed this platform, I am the key master and the administrator, the global administrator of the platform itself. Below this level, we call them moderators. Moderators would be officers who will be helping me out in terms of managing the content and managing the features and functionalities, if there are any officers out there that are available. And then below moderators, you also have a group of level users called instructors. These are exclusively for teachers. Teachers have different privileges to students, especially when teachers are able to create their own courses. And then right below teachers level, we have the student user. The student users are able to apply for courses and undergo learning pathways and learning activities through these courses and subjects that they enroll in. And then finally, in the near future, we will introduce a different group of users which will comprise of parents. The reason why we'll have parents in the user group is because we will be dealing with minors, students who are below 12 years old. So we do need their consent, the students' consent in terms of how the students are learning online. All right, now I'm going to key in my password here, so I'm going to cut that part from the video, and then once it comes back in, you'll see me as the registered user. Okay, so I've keyed in my password, and I'm going to log in. So it takes around 5 seconds to 6 seconds to actually, what do you call this? So it takes around 5 to 6 seconds for the page to refresh. So that means that okay, so we're in. So this is the first thing that the instructor sees. The instructor sees his or her dashboard as a teacher. So what I've done for the dashboard for the teachers is to align and to arrange things that will be useful for them. But before we move on to talking about the dashboard of the teachers, let's look at the general features and functionalities of the TeachBrunei LMS. The reason being is because previously before we registered or before we log into the system, we are unable to see and to view these different parts of the system, the different parts of the platform itself. We begin with looking into the home part of the menu. The home feature of the menu lists down all the available subjects that students can register, can enroll in to become students, and for teachers to apply to become instructors. So these, initially, during the prototype design of the TeachBrunei LMS, we had around 250 something subjects in regards to the years that they are on. But since we are focusing on, for this interim LMS launch, on the core subjects of English, mathematics, and science, so these are the ones that will be coming up first. So from this home feature, students and teachers are able to look into the subjects that they're interested in. Now we move on to the function of learn. The learn menu allows students and teachers to explore possible courses that they are interested in to become either a student or an instructor. For example, if I were to key in year 7, this will list out all the year 7 subjects that are available. Now, I'm now going on to the lounge. The lounge is a forum, a community of practice, a community of inquiry exclusively for students, but teachers are also able to enroll in this forum among students so that they are able to guide students in terms of their learning and their studies. So the lounge itself for the students is a place for them to discuss and to debate and to do group work with their peers or with someone who is above or below their level in regards to the subject that they are taking. Next, we move on to the resources. Now, in parallel to TeachBrunei LMS, we also have developed a digital resource management system. The digital resource management system provides users with a lot of content that they can use and reuse in their learning. So we get back to TeachBrunei LMS. Other than the resources from our own digital library or digital resources repository, we also have resources based on subject and type external resources that are available online. For example, if I were to go to resources by subject, if I were a maths teacher, I will be able to look into certain websites and certain platforms that I may want to use in my teaching. If I were an English teacher, I will be able to look into certain platforms and websites and resources that I can use in my teaching as well. If I'm not going to filter these external resources by type, by subject, I can also filter them by type. For example, if I'm looking into games to be used in my teaching, I can look into games. If I'm looking into certain videos, so I can look into those. So the external resources are quite useful, in my opinion, for teachers who do not have a clear idea of what they want to teach. So they want to explore certain tools and certain platforms that are available outside online, and usually they are free. And finally, TeachBrunei LMS is also aligning with several learning management systems, which we call now XLMS. So there are certain courses, there are certain units that are also made available in Canvas classes, at Moodle classes, and Google Classroom classes. So these are what we call general features. Now, other than the general features that you can see on the menu bar, we also have something that's called the study desk. Now, the study desk provides teachers and students with the ability to use external tools that are integrated into TeachBrunei LMS. For example, if I were to look into the use of Seesaw, a Seesaw is a very good e-portfolio system for teachers to keep track of students' submission. As you can see here, Seesaw is integrated into the TeachBrunei LMS system. And students can again sign in using the Seesaw account or the scan the code, and then the teachers can follow the progress of the students through Seesaw as well, in complement to what they are doing on TeachBrunei LMS. We also have several calculators. Calculators are useful for our maths students and maths teachers. We have the scientific calculator. This allows not only for calculations of numbers, but it also allows teachers to create formulas, because these are all scientific formulas that are available for students and teachers to use, and they can copy and paste them to be used freely in the TeachBrunei LMS. Other than the scientific calculator, students are also able to access the graphing features of graphing calculators, for example. So for example, if students want to create expressions, they can do that. Students want to create certain graphs. For example, I'm just going to use trigonometry here. So students can create graphs using the features that are available on TeachBrunei LMS, and they can, without even signing in, but they can also create accounts and sign in, of course. But without signing in, they can also use this and copy and paste this into the work in TeachBrunei LMS, exclusively for students who are higher up in the level, for example, in sixth form or in the higher secondary classes. We also have several labs that are available through TeachBrunei LMS. So these are the labs that are available through TeachBrunei LMS. At the moment, we're working with chemistry labs, physics labs, biology lab, computer labs, and language lab. Now, we're going to go briefly through each one. In fact, we're just going to go to 2 of these. All right, we're going to go to the chemistry lab. The chemistry lab links with a virtual lab stockroom based on the Chem Collective features, the Chem Collective tool. So what it provides students and science teachers is a virtual lab for them to conduct experiments using virtual beakers and test tubes and titrations and pipettes and all these other facilities, the utensils that you find in virtual labs. Now I'm going to leave this first because it takes around a few minutes for it to load. Let's go back to our list of labs. We also have a physics lab. The physics lab allows physics teachers and also physics students to do experiments, to conduct experiments that are relevant to physics. For example, experiments on Newton's cradle, which is the pendulum. So students are able to interact. As you can see here, I'm interacting with the features of this particular experiment, key in their values and whatnot. So there are many experiments that are provided by myphysicslab.com, and these can again be brought back into the TeachBrunei LMS system. Now let's see if the virtual lab has. All right, it takes a few more minutes for it to launch. So we have several of these labs. In the near future, we'll have biology labs, computer labs, and language lab. So we're going to leave the virtual lab to load in. I believe it's going to load soon, but let's go back to TeachBrunei LMS. So the next thing that I want to show is the dashboard. Let's go back and return to the teacher's dashboard. The teacher's dashboard is kind of like a table full of information about their own students. Now, being the webmaster and the administrator, I was the one who created a lot of these subjects that are now available on TeachBrunei online. In the near future, teachers will be conducting their lessons and will be in control of these courses. But just imagine that this is a teacher's account. As you can see here, what teachers will be able to see will be they will be able to create their to-do list. For example, things that they want to do tomorrow or next week, they can put their lesson plans in there. They can also create announcements, and then they can regulate these announcements to the students. As you can see here, they can announce it to everyone or announce it to students only to the courses that they are an instructor of. They can start meetings, webinar meetings. In TeachBrunei LMS, we are using 2 different webinar platforms. One is Zoom, another is the big blue button. At the moment, Zoom is the more feasible option because of the current upscaling features that they are doing at the moment. Below these 3 functions that we have for teachers, we have the gradebook. As you can see here, these are not actually students, but these are teachers who happen to be enrolled in the TeachBrunei LMS quite early. So these are actual teachers from actual schools. As you can see here, through the gradebook, you can actually track your students' grades, and not only on a particular subject, but on subjects that other subjects that you teach as well. You can look into the assignments, how many marks that they have gotten for the assignments and the quizzes. Obviously, you won't be able to see any numbers here because we are yet to welcome our students in. Below the gradebook, we have certain simplest, what they call simple units of statistics. For example, how many students am I teaching at the moment? How many units am I managing? How many courses am I teaching? The reason why these numbers are big is because I created TeachBrunei LMS in terms of the content from scratch. So that's the reason why I am the key master of all these units and courses and students in the future when teachers start to come in. So all these responsibilities will be distributed among teachers. So not many teachers usually will not have more than, for example, 10 units. So depending on what they teach in school, so they reflect that in the TeachBrunei LMS. Assignments that I marked, quizzes that I made, and certificates that I awarded. So I also have below that, I have got information about, as you can see here, the reason why I'm teaching all of these is not because I am a very good teacher and I'm teaching a lot of these subjects, but it's because I created these subjects, which I will again award and I will hand over to the teachers who handle these. For example, I'm not a maths teacher, but I will hand it over to the maths teachers who will be coming in into TeachBrunei LMS. So what we have here, we can have a graph of students' progress. And then right below that, we've got all the information about the students' progress as well. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what the teachers will be able to see on the dashboard. The dashboard would allow them to have a bird's eye view, to have a helicopter view of what's happening with the students that they're teaching. So we've got the features here, for example, the courses that I'm teaching, my activities. The TeachBrunei LMS has what is called notification, but it's very similar to receiving emails. So what I have here is like an inbox of information about students' activities and requests for meetings, for example. Now, one big feature of being an instructor in TeachBrunei LMS is the ability to create your own courses. As you can see here, if a teacher, I'm trying my best in terms of TeachBrunei LMS in terms of preparing subjects that will cater for all teachers. But in the event that a teacher is looking for a specific course or specific learning pathway that they want their students to go through, they can create their own course. And I'm going to click the create own course here, create a course feature. So just imagine that I'm a teacher. So as a teacher, I can create my own course. So these are the features that the teachers would have to fill in. For example, they have to name the course. For example, if I'm going to write down MIB Terrazzo. So I'm an MIB teacher and I'm going to teach MIB Terrazzo. So I'm going to put in all the categories in this regard. Let's say I'm going to choose it as part of MIB. I'm going to teach it to year 9. Put a picture on it, a photo maybe about Terrazzo. A video if I have any videos, and I create my course and description of what the course is all about. And then I will also fix the settings and the components and this curriculum that's connected to this particular course. And finally, the teacher creates the course, and the course is available out there for TeachBrunei LMS, but they can also invite and close it down only to their particular set of students.